Live from Las Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world, it's The Joe Cortez Show.
Welcome to the Joe Cortez Show here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital of the world. Today we have two special guests, Shanae and John Pearson. Very special guests because they have great stories to tell us, but they inspired me yesterday, meeting them for the first time, and found out to be that they are just kind of people we need in the world today to help other individuals get on the right track. We're going to start with Shanae. Shanae, can you tell us a little bit about your recovery and your great stories?
Absolutely. First and foremost, thanks for having us on your show. I was born in Massachusetts, and that is my stomping grounds for my addiction. There, I, smoked crack cocaine under bridges with my brother. Drug addiction ran in my family, so the apple didn't fall far from the tree. I was very active, and it wasn't until I saw a video of myself getting high that I realized my life needed to change. At that point, I don't think I was really ready. I would get clean for a month, relapse, get clean for another month, relapse. And finally, in January 3rd, 2006, I decided to take a leap of faith and get my act together. And I've been clean and sober ever since. This January makes 14 years. But I also realized that I substituted one addiction for another. I put the drugs and alcohol down, but food became my obsession. And at my heaviest, I weighed in at 390 pounds. And I'm happy to say today that I'm 180 pounds lighter. And so if I can do it, anybody can do it. And that's the truth, Joe.
Well, that's great. I'm great. You have great support behind you. You have your great husband there, John, who's been to similar situations in his life. And as a veteran for the U.S. Army, he served 4.5 years. We're thank you much for that.
Oh.
And I think that you have something you want to share with the viewers as well.
Yeah, I too was at a place in my life where I didn't know where I was going, Joe. After the military service, I came out and started self-medicating myself with drugs and alcohol. Before I knew it, my life was turned upside down. I was eating out of trash cans, sleeping on park benches. I was homeless, hopeless, and lonely, Joe. I went in and out of jails, institutions. At one time in my life, I overdosed, and my mom and dad was planning my funeral, Joe, and I had no brain activity. Now, 3.9 college student, worked for the Department of Veterans Affairs, letting everybody know that they too can recover as long as they put their mind to it, Joe.
Absolutely. It is a sad thing to see that so many individuals around the world, especially here in the United States, and we need so much help. I understand that you're in a program with VA Hospital where you actually are employed by them, helping other individuals similar to your case. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I got a very unique job. The government backs this program. It's called a peer support specialist. What a peer support specialist is, Joe, and why it is so unique of a job is that you have to have so many years clean and sober of overcoming alcohol or drug addictions, homelessness, mental health problems. So it's a job where that those qualifications are needed in order to qualify for the job. Then I had to go out and get credentialed by the state of Missouri. And I was just grateful that you took me out here to the VA in Las Vegas the other day. That I found out there was 8 positions available here, Joe.
It looks like going to be a resident of Nevada, and probably, I'm almost sure, be working for the VA hospital as well.
Absolutely.
Great. Shana, can you tell me a little bit about what signs do you look for somebody that we don't know about, our children or loved ones or whatever, are into drugs? What signs do we look for?
Well, Joe, that's actually a really good question because I think a lot of people are unaware. The biggest sign is that your loved ones are going to start distancing themselves from you because they're in a place of shame. And so whether it's hibernating, not coming home, there are some clear signs, money goes missing, valuables in your house goes missing. But for me, the biggest one is the person that was very much so present is not present much. I know for me personally, I removed myself from my family because I didn't want to hurt them. I didn't want to steal from them, but I still found a way to break their hearts. And so for me, that is the #1 indicator.
Well, what resources are there available for family members and addicts themselves? What's out there for them for help? Where can they go to?
Well, that's also another great question. There are more resources available to addicts than people know. I know my husband is a product of the Salvation Army. There are counselors, there's therapists, There are people like John and I. All you need to do is go do a little bit of searching, and you'll be surprised at what you find. For me, my faith helped me along the way. I did a lot of my rehab cold turkey, but for my husband, Salvation Army and the St. Patrick's Center are some of the most valuable resources out there. But in every state, they have places that you can go and get some help. The NA program, AA program, that's all beginning steps to get clean and sober.
Talking about AA, when you clean up drugs, is it harmful for you to maybe start doing continued drinking alcohol? Would that affect you with your rehab program?
Yes, you should not. For me and my husband, not only do we not do drugs, we don't drink. And so, not saying that the people around us can't drink, because they absolutely can. They may not have the same problems as us. But my husband and I, we don't do anything. So no, if you are in recovery, you should not be drinking either.
Now, what kind of program do you use for, let's say you support each other? Of course, he covers your back, you cover his back, you're making sure things are straight. Now, how's your relationship as far as understanding one another?
Understanding one another, well, we both come from nothing, so we appreciate everything. So my support system might be different than other people's. I got a strong faith-backed church that I go to. I got support from military veterans. There's different strokes for different folks, but our relationship is bonded by what we've been through in similar situations, is why we understand each other so much. So.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about domestic abuse. When there's domestic abuse involved in a family, friends, loved ones, your neighbors, you hear about these. What is the first step individuals should take, whether it's on the male side or the female side? It goes in both ways.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so what is there for them to do? What is the first step they should take when you're in a domestic type of abuse?
Well, I will say this as also a survivor of domestic abuse. Especially women, we are blinded by love. And so we accept things and tolerate things that no human being should. And so the first step is to take love out of the equation, and you need to get away. And as many times as I was abused verbally, emotionally, physically, I have battle wounds on my body. I still stuck around because we are blinded by love. The first step, if I could give anybody some advice, would be to get away as fast as you can.
Okay, now that got nothing to do with John.
No, he was the first person first relationship that I've ever been in that wasn't physical.
What type of services are available for individuals suffering from domestic abuse? What kind of resources do they have? Who can they call? You call the police? You call your family? Who do you call?
Well, some women I know for myself, we were afraid to call the police because we didn't want to upset our abuser even more. The biggest resource to a woman or man, because it goes both ways, Joe, that women abuse men too, is the domestic abuse shelters. If you need a fast getaway, there are shelters that are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All you need to do is get on your phone. If you don't have a phone, you run. You go to your neighbor, and you just need to get away. But the shelters are your number one resource. Yes, the police are there to help, but what if you don't want your abuser to know that you've called the police? You could be dead before the police get there. Run, Joe, run.
Okay, now, is it good for family members to get involved and help you out with that?
Yes, absolutely. Sometimes your family members will pick up on it, and again, the abused is in denial. I was in denial. My mother used to say to me, "Why is your eye black and blue?" And I'd say, "Oh, I walked into a cabinet." She knew darn well that I did not walk into a cabinet. And so I got a phone call saying, "We're coming down there. We're going to come rescue you." And I said, "No, Mom, I'm fine." She knew I wasn't fine.
Yeah, okay, now, so you said about the signs and whatnot. Sometimes you're afraid to talk about it because you're afraid he's going to hurt you again. And if you call the police, he said they may hurt you, kill you before the police even get it because they start freaking out. But I mean, is there counseling involved where maybe you don't want to split up because you think maybe you love each other, but you want to get some help, you're going to try to make it work? Who do you go for that? Do you go to marriage counselors or what?
Well, usually every scenario is different, but it starts out with emotional abuse and verbal abuse. My personal suggestion is to try to avoid it from getting any worse. I personally think once it's gone to that level that it's not something that you can fix because your abuser may have certain triggers. I would get away and not turn back because you can rebuild your life. you can't rebuild something that another person takes from you. So if, it could get better for a few months and then it could get 100% worse. So once once you've had enough and you realize it's time to check out, you check out and then work on rebuilding from there. There is counseling available, but once it's gone to the form of abuse, physical, domestic abuse, I personally don't think there's anything, there's no way to come back from that. It's time to go.
Yeah, I know you told me that you went through a difficult marriage and you had oil thrown on your body. You got all burnt up.
We didn't get married, thank the Lord.
Oh, you didn't get married.
This is my first husband. But I was in a relationship where it was very controlling, and I found out that he was not being faithful. And we had been very physical. He was abusive. And again, I was blinded by love. When I was ready to leave, I left. He found me. Joe, he found me, he tracked me down. He kicked open my door and threw a pan of hot grease at me. I have scars down my arms. I have scars on my chest and down my stomach. I am a walking testament that, it gets worse. It doesn't get better.
Well, it's so sad to hear that, because there's a lot of people out there that mean well, but unfortunately they are either in alcohol or drug abuse, and they themselves don't even realize what they're doing, but then it's too late. But I see so much of that going on throughout the whole country, and females, especially females, I think there's a higher percentage of female abuse than there is male abuse. But I guess it's because the couple, they love each other. You said they kind of go into denial, but we have to try to make sure that you try to make it work. Sometimes you say it's best to get out earlier.
Sometimes it's just best to leave. When it gets physical, again, women walk with our hearts, and I'm sure men do too, but we try to make it work for the sake of the relationship. But when a man or a woman puts hands on you, there is no fixing that. It could turn into death. And I've heard so many cases where I didn't want to be a statistic. I didn't want my mother to find me chopped up in a suitcase somewhere. But I would tell you, this man chased me around the house with a butcher knife. Why would I stay? But I stayed. And it wasn't until he threw the hot oil at me, was arrested, and charged with attempted murder that I decided to really terminate all ties, and the state prosecuted him and he was put in jail.
Now, there's also that mental abuse is just as bad, would you say?
Just as bad. Yes, it is. It could tear someone's soul down. You want to be uplifting to people. My husband says every morning, this is a true story, Joe. Every morning by 6:15, I have a message from this man that says, "I love you very much, Miss Pearson. You're the most beautiful woman to me." My day does not go on until I get that message. I have never had that in my life. And now when I don't receive it, I text him like, question mark, where is it? That is the type of relationship you should be in. No one should be tearing me down. We should be building each other up, and that's what it's about, Joe.
Well, I was talking to John earlier today, and we were talking about, life is more important these days than it was yesteryears. You learn a lot from mistakes on either side. John, can you tell us a little bit how you are as a husband to this beautiful young lady?
Well, I gotta treat her like a queen, because that's what she is. She's very important to me, not only in life but in my recovery. We both got faith in God, and I always feed myself with positivity, and I feed her with positivity. We listen to motivational videos. We don't like to feed into too much news, Joe, because it's kind of designed to set the world up in depression. So we like to watch YouTube videos and people talking about positive things in the world today.
Absolutely. I believe that talking positive and being together and be with other good friends, good people. There's a lot of good people out there, but you got to pick your friends. There are just a ton of friends out there, but there's really only a handful of good ones that you want to be involved with. You get friends that take you out, you want to go drinking, you go party, you start making mistakes because of all the alcohol and whatnot, and those are the things that will guide you in the wrong direction. You want to go in the right direction with the right people, so you minimize all those friends that you have, and you find out that by being with a smaller group, you get to accomplish a lot more things. You find more time for yourself and be more on a positive note and help other people who really need some guidance and some direction. And I think that you, John, for example, you now thinking about moving to Las Vegas from Missouri. You're talking about working with the VA. You're a veteran yourself, and you're going to be helping military individuals, soldiers some of them are homeless, some of them are suffering from PDS. And what can you tell us about how you're going to help the folks here in Las Vegas?
Well, as a peer support specialist, when I came to Las Vegas last month, I had a vision of seeing the homeless crisis out here in Las Vegas, and the strongest story, the strongest tool that we have is our story as peer specialists. I can't hold your hand and walk you through it, but I could tell you what I've been through in life and what they might be going through to give them hope and inspiration, because that's my calling in life. I believe that I was put through them situations, Joe. That way I could reach lost souls and bring them out of dark places to the top of mountains.
Okay, now you're a certified individual. You're going through all kinds of tests, all kinds of programs to get to that level. Very few people here in the United States with your kind of training. You're certified. That's why the VA hired you in Missouri to do this type of work. Now here in Las Vegas, they're looking to have you on with them in the very near future. Do you think that a lot of these soldiers come back from a war, they're in the military, and they have a lot of issues? Is there a lot of domestic abuse because of the soldiers as well, or what?
You know, the tragic situations they may have seen coming back from overseas. A lot of soldiers self-medicate themselves with alcohol and drug abuse, Joe, which you know, that puts you in the wrong state of mind, because an unstable mind can't make a conscious decision. So they ain't really thinking consciously at some of the things that they're doing when they come back, and you know, domestic violence, drugs and alcohol abuse, because of the situations that they experienced over in foreign lands and war zones.
Yeah, I truly believe that our military system is doing a great job. I mean, there's a lot of good things that are happening now with the pay increases of the soldiers, and they're increasing our military standards, keeping everything up better than ever before. There's, I don't know how many hundreds of millions of dollars they're putting in every year to the military right now, and the news programs are coming about. But I also believe that the U.S. government, the military, should start a program on drug testing on the soldiers themselves, because our lives are in their hands as well. And when it comes to being a soldier, you're a government employee. You work. You should be tested there as well. They're not having that program in the military right now as we speak, do they?
I got out in 2001, Joe. So I don't know what the standards are. They did have drug testing, random drug test.
Random.
Yeah, random, but they didn't. You know, there was ways around it if you wanted to. But I know, as Joe said, the government's putting a lot into peer supports. The president actually donated his quarterly salary to the peer support program in the mental health department for the Department of Veterans Affairs. So I know that in the VA now, I know that we do have drug tests, but they're still random. They probably should do them a little more often, Joe.
Yeah, I believe that the drug testing for military should be not random, but everybody should be mandatory, that they all take a test. This way everybody will stop trying to be smart and beat around the bush and say, give all kinds of excuses and maybe do some kind of drugs that they don't even test for. I don't even know what kind of system they have in place, but I think it has to be modified so everybody can get tested.
I agree.
You know, Shana, going back to you, Shana, you live in Boston.
I lived in Boston, yes.
And then you moved to the Bronx.
Yes.
And from the Bronx, you moved out to Missouri.
To be with this fine man.
This fine man, okay. I think you made a wise move in your life, because
Yes.
you know, sometimes we search around for the right person in our lives, and it doesn't happen all the time, but then sometimes there's that little magic little thing happens, and you run into somebody. And tell us a little bit how you guys first met and when you got married. Ryan Anderson, for the company you work with, M Global, was at your wedding. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So it's a long story, but I'll wrap it and condense it as much as I can. I met John Pearson through a prior company, and he had some face cream, and as a makeup artist, face cream was like my go-to. So I think he knew what he was doing. He got me on the FaceTime because he wanted to see this pretty face, but it worked. So he started reeling me in. But anyways, I used the face cream and I fell in love with it. And then it wasn't long after that I was on a plane to meet John. I wanted to learn more about the business. I wanted to meet the man that I've been talking to for so long. And as soon as I got off the plane, there was this tall, handsome man smelling oh so amazing. And after that moment, John and I started dating. We had so much in common. We're both in recovery. We both were adopted. We both had we both had trials and tribulations, and we both overcame. That was the key. We both overcame. So with that being said, he proposed last October. Was it last October? Yeah, last October. Of course I said yes. And
I mean, he got on his knee with the ring?
Twice.
Twice?
Not once, twice.
He didn't convince you the first time?
Oh, he did, but you know, I don't know. Two times is always good too. So I said yes twice.
Two is better than one.
But then I got on my knees too, and I asked him to marry me as well. It's a two-way street here. You're stuck with me for life now.
Okay, good.
And so we had I want to say a celebrity wedding. We had a pretty big turnout, and M Global was invited. Not all could make it. But what they did do, I'll tell you this, Ryan Anderson did not have to do this, but he did. He just blessed us with some amazing wishes and a monetary gift to us that really helped us. It was a time that we definitely could use it, and he didn't have to do it, and he did. That just tells you what an amazing company this is, what an amazing person Ryan Anderson is, and so we are truly blessed.
You know, you viewers out there, I want you to understand that this interview is so inspiring because of the program just has so much information to keep you guys on the right track and keep you going, be focused on what you want to do in life. Be with the M Global company. It's a great company that brings out so much to help other individuals to stay healthy, but not only healthy, but also keep you happy because there's some green in your pocket. Well, we all love money as well to keep us going, keep us more motivated, but most importantly is to have somebody that you care for and love to keep you really above board and keep you on the right track, especially individuals like John and Shayna who have gone through so many difficult times in their life, and here they are giving out. Sometimes things happen for a reason, and they're out there now giving out, paying it forward to make sure these individuals who are suffering from what they've gone through in the past, get them on the right track. I truly believe, I want to thank you guys for sharing all that knowledge and information to our viewers, because I'm sure that there's a bunch of viewers right now watching that are going through the same situation that you both went through, and we need, people like these to keep it going. Make sure that you guys, if you have someone, a member in your family, a loved one, a neighbor, a friend, somebody that needs this kind of help, there's resources out there you can reach out to get that help that's needed to get you back on the right track. If John and Shayna did it, you can do it as well. I tell you, you guys, to me, you're like champions. You guys are individuals that are bringing so much info out there. But before we wrap it up with our show, we've got about another 8 minutes to go. I want you to tell me, John, a little bit about, I know you guys are married, you got through difficult times, but you also have a pet home, a pit bull, I understand. Your little baby. We're not going to leave him out of the picture. Okay, so John, tell me about your doggy.
Well, I know Shayna loves animals, so a friend of mine had this baby pit bull puppy that he used to drive me crazy, Joe, but now he won't leave me alone. He follows me everywhere. He lays on my lap. He thinks he's a lap dog. He's a great dog. He's a pit bull, eh? He's a pit bull. Some people get the wrong impressions of pit bulls, but they're actually one of the most loving animals. Anybody that any kind of breed, it's about the owners and how they treat the dog. If you're abusive to an animal, they're going to be abusive back. That's just the nature of the beast. But our pit bull is wonderful, and I'm just glad to have him around. Shayna, I know that's your baby, so you tell me when you get home tonight, the first thing you're going to do is run into that house and grab your doggy.
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is leave the car and let him grab the suitcases, because I'm running to go see my son. That is my son. I will tell you my take really quickly on the dogs. Dogs have that extra sense, and they are the most loving animals, and they pick up on when you're going through things. John may not even be home, and if he is, he may not know I'm feeling some type of way, but those dogs do. And they are also a companion. And, the dogs, he just brings me so much joy, because, children are not in the picture at the present moment. We have a son, and he's our fur baby. Fur baby.
Yeah, you got to give him a little bottle.
He actually does drink the mangosteen.
He has clothes. He has boots. He has his own bottle. Yes, he does. He has his own little life-size. He does.
He has a little crib.
He has the life-size crib.
Okay, there you go. You see that? I mean, they got to show.
He's a spoiled pup.
It goes to show folks out there watching that we got two individuals that are just so special, not only about humanity, but also about animals. If you love animals, you're an animal lover, you got to have a good heart. I've always said people that love animals got a good heart. My daughter Cindy, who's in a wheelchair, she was involved in an auto accident. She's a quadriplegic for the last 20 years. And every time I get a chance, I bring her a little Chihuahua. She has 3 of them already. She said, Daddy, don't bring me any more Chihuahuas. I can't do it, but those are her 3 babies as well. I know how you feel about your doggy, because my daughter, that's her life. She never had children. She was in the accident when she was 29, and those are her 3 babies.
Absolutely.
And so I know that you folks out there, you're listening to a program not about boxing today. I can talk about boxing. That's all I've been doing my whole life. But I also care about people. I care about individuals like John and Shayna and other members here of the Mobile Global Group, the M Global Group that is just here. They're all together. Like I met new folks today. I already feel like they're part of my family. They're good, loving, caring individuals who are here to share their knowledge and wisdom and their love with everyone, because these are good people. These are people that want to strive to go to another level. A lot of them semi-retired. Some of them are just about to retire. They're looking for another resource of income coming in. So when they retire, they can have a little extra spending money in their pocket. They can take a little extra vacations here and there. But the M Global family is a beautiful family. Thanks for Ryan Anderson for what he's doing for the Global M Global company. I'm a member of the M Global. I'm going to grow with them as well. I'm going to be a spokesperson for them. I'm going to be traveling, spreading the word out there about the M Global to make sure that people like Shayna, John, and everybody, all my friends that are out there that I met today that are striving to do better things in life. I really believe that this is the way to go. And of course, keep on helping individuals like yourself who have gone through some difficult times. I have close friends. I have a lot of family members that I would like to share my learning of M Global, and of course my daughter Cindy, who's a freak for health, keeping herself healthy, because when you are suffering paralysis, a lot of parts of your body are not like yours and mine, so they have to take other nutrition in their body, healthy nutrition, vitamins, to keep themselves going. And once she learns more about the M Global, she's going to want to try to, I'm sure, get introduced to the company so she can start using this, and other individuals suffer from paralysis, which is another topic we'll talk about in the very near future. But I want to say, John and Shane, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today, for being able to give all this information to our dear friends and loved ones, and especially to you two. I take my hats off to you guys. To me, you two guys are undisputed champions.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, guys? Keep up the good work. And before we go, guys, I just want to say again to our friends at the M Global Group here at the M Hotel in Las Vegas. I think they chose the M Hotel because of the M Global, right? So I think that they got the right location. So when you walk out in front of the pool area in the front, take a group photo, the M Global Group, with the big M behind you. Guys, take care. Thanks a lot for joining us this week with the Joe Cortez Show here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the boxing capital of the world, and of course, the entertainment capital of the world.